in this format here. This one curly brace indicates one object, like so on. Okay, database data here. We are going to fetch the data. If you look at a simple workflow diagram here, okay, we have different layers. Okay, it's actually integration layer, service layer, and data access layer. Okay, this is operation number 2. We are just giving here fetch all. Okay, so what Angular application will do, just it will make a simple request here. Okay, something like here. Okay, this is slash go to REST controller, the API slash employee slash all. Like that, a simple request is made here. Okay, that will come to employee REST controller here. Okay, no input is taken, just directly it is going to call service. Okay, there we are going to define one method, get all the employees. No input here. We are just going to call a method called find all. Okay, there is a find all predefined method available in the repository. Okay, so here that will make a call to database, and it contains one table that internally contains rows. Okay, find method will make the call to database here. Here just we are writing a service call. Nothing else, directly we are just calling the service layer. That is calling data access layer. So this is going to return the data in the form of list of objects. Okay, if one row is there, one object. Second row is there, second object. Third row is there, third object. Like that, it returns the data in the form of list of type. Okay, where type is nothing but employee. Okay, the same list we are returning back to REST controller here. So there we are going to create one object that's a response entity. Okay, response entity T here. We are going to pass the list in the body. Okay, and the status 200 are okay. We are just going to create this response here. And once you create this response and return back, okay, what it is going to be done here, there will be annotation that is called response body. You need not write this. It is implicitly added by default. You need not add this annotation. When you add REST controller, please look at line number 14. Please look at line number 14. When you have REST controller, inside the REST controller, there will be implicit annotation called response body. In the REST controller itself, it will be there. It converts the data into JSON format. Okay, so here response looks like here JSON. Okay, this is box for list and one JSON object, key colon value, one object, second object, third object, so on, dot, dot. Okay, that's actually output format, you can see. Okay, if you have already created, or else you are going to get some empty box here. This is fetching all the records. Look at carefully. I'm just giving some steps here. Okay, workflow diagram if you want here. Step number 1, make a request, service call, execute service method, execute find all, go to database, get the data as a list, return to controller, REST controller. Okay, that will execute internally response body and gives the output in the form of JSON to Angular application. Okay, I'm just giving the same steps here. First of all, in the notes, look at. Step number 1, Angular application makes a request like http://localhost 8080/API/employee/all. REST controller executes a method based on path matching. Okay, which makes call to service. Okay, there is a service method available here. So that is something like get all employees. Okay, there will be method here. Okay, service makes call to repository. Okay, find all. Okay, which is a predefined method. Okay, step number 4. Okay, find all communicates to database and generates one select SQL query. Okay, example looks like this here. Select star from employee table. Okay, I missed some numbers. That's fine. Step number 4. Step number 5, SQL. Example SQL. Step number 6. Okay. Database returns data to repository, which converts into list of type. Step number 7. Same list is given back to service layer. Step number 8. Step number 8. REST controller will create response entity, okay, that contains list as body and status as 200, like this. Step number 9. Internally, @response body annotation is executed, okay, which converts return type, okay, that is a list, into JSON format. Okay, this annotation is given default by @REST controller. You need not add this annotation manually. Step number 10. Okay, JSON response is given back to client machine. Okay, these are the steps. You can just see. Same thing I just given notes. Okay, first Angular application or client application making request. Request goes to integration layer that will make a service call. Service call is actually using a method get all employees, going to data access layer, execute find all method, and get the data, generate the SQL, get the data, and return as a list, give it to service, giving to integration, creating the response entity. This is converted by response body into JSON and given. Okay, I'm writing the coding part now. Okay, coding starts from service. employee service. Okay, there I'm writing a method. Look at find all employees. There is no input. You see, we are not passing any input, but the output is actually list. Okay, we are not giving anything, but we are taking as a list here. So the return type is actually going to be list of employee. Java.util.list. Okay, step number 1, coding steps I'm just giving here. Coding steps I'm just giving. Step 1, add a method in employee service, like this. Next, we have to implement method in employee service IMPL. Okay, so here I'm just going to employee service IMPL. So here control space and press enter. Okay, there I'm writing the code repo.findAll. Repo means employee repository. In the employee repository, don't write any code. There will be predefined methods given. Okay, this findAll is a predefined method. It generates the code by default. Okay, it generates the list. Okay, so here is a list type, where type indicates actually it's a employee, generate type. Okay, that list we are written. So in the service IMPL, you have to override the method. You can use a shortcut control space and press enter. Okay, step number 3, in the REST controller, add a method that returns response entity. Okay, now in the REST controller, I am writing a method here. You can just observe. Going to employee REST controller, and there I am adding a method here. It's a fetching the data, right? It's a get type I'm just writing here. Look at, it's a public response entity will get the output as a list of employee. Find all employees. So it's a get map. Okay, it's a get map. Now there, I am just making a service call, find all employees, okay, which returns actually list of employee. It's a list. Now I'm returning the response entity. Okay, this actually list of employee. I'm returning here, which takes 2 parameters. Body is a list, and the status, HTTP status dot OK. Like this, I'm just mentioning. Step number 3 in the REST controller. Okay, now 1, I have added a method in the service interface. 2, I just mentioned the method in the service IMPL. 3, add a method in REST controller with return type response entity that returns list of employee. Okay, here you need not to add response. Okay, it's a response body. You need not to add this. Okay, it is by default added by REST controller. See here, response body is there. You need not add anything here manually. That's fine. I want to test this application finally. Okay, open the main class. Okay, open the main class. Run this application, Spring Boot application. Open the Postman. Okay, there I'm testing here. So already I wrote a method to test one employee. Okay, we have just created like this. You can just see. Click on send button. Got no response. Unknown database, it says. Whenever you see this exception, please observe. I'm just showing the problem here. Whenever you see this exception, please look at carefully. Okay, what is the solution? I'm just giving a solution here. Look at. Okay, open the MySQL console, password root. Okay, create database, and what is the database name? Okay, use database name, show tables. Of course, you can just done this one. You can find remaining. execute this MySQL commands. Just create sufficient, remaining just for checking purpose. Again, you run this application. Okay, now you try to insert first of all one record. Okay, this insert I just gave already. You can just see it's a save operation screen. Okay, it's a post, URL, body, raw, JSON, and JSON data. Okay, now I just want to fetch some data here. Okay, if you want to fetch the data, just use a method called all. That's actually get type and click on send here. You'll get the JSON data like this. Even you can enter this URL in the browser also. Get methods you can enter in the browser also here. This is operation number 2 here. Fetch all operation. Okay. Now, so this is a code I just wrote here, step number 1, 2, and 3. Now in the same way, I'm just trying to fetch one record by ID. Operation number 3 here is just see. I just want to fetch one record by ID. Same process what we have done here this time, but we are going to pass only one primary key here. Okay, so we are going to pass /API /employee /find some ID, just for example 101 we pass. Okay, this 101 we read the data, okay, at our REST controller by using one annotation. It's a path variable. Path variable, some type, for example integer and ID. We have to declare the dynamic path here, and then we make a service call. Okay, here I'm just going to define the methods. Okay, this time it's not find all. Okay, and it's not the list. It's a single object. Okay, so here we have a method here, find one employee. We pass the ID, whatever the ID we got here. Okay, there is actually repo dot find by ID method is there. We take the ID. Okay, there is actually find by ID. We just take the ID. Okay, it is going to return one object. Okay, or else it will return null. Any one. Okay, either object or null. If the given record exists, it will return the object, else it will return the null. Okay, this null we have to convert it to custom exception, but I'll not give it now. I'll show it later. As of now, you return null only, not a issue. Okay, we'll convert into a custom exception. We'll write the message. Temporarily, assumption we are just sending that object. Okay, that object is converted to JSON format like this. JSON format. Just like the same process, but this time we are getting single object. Okay, based on the ID, or else you are going to get the null value here. Okay, I'm just giving this workflow here. Operation number 3, fetch one record by ID. Okay. Now we are writing here just one method, fetch one employee. Actually, it will return the optional object. Okay, we have to check the if condition and we have to return here. Okay, so I'm just writing the methods, even coding here. coding steps. Okay, first at employee service. Second, employee service IMPL. Okay, third, employee rest controller. Three places. Don't do any code at repository and entity, only one time. Repository and entity, we don't write the code again and again. Okay, now I'm writing this code here, concentrate. Okay, now I'm just going to service interface. Okay, input is actually ID and output is actually employee. Okay. Primary key type is long actually. You have to pass long. Here I just mentioned int. No, it's actually long type. Primary key. Now this one I have just added in employee service here. You can just see. And writing the method implementation in employee service IMPL. Okay, there I'm writing repo.find by ID. Okay, this may return either null or object, so returning in the form of optional. It's a OPT. So it will return the form of java.util.optional, JDK8 concept. Okay, I'm just asking a small question, you give reply. Okay, in case of Spring Boot, if you're attending, I used to explain this one. This time I'm asking question to you. Okay, now this optional, I'm just checking condition opt dot is present. Then we have to return opt dot get. Okay, else we return null. Actually, we have to throw the custom exception, but temporal is null. Okay. Optional is not interface, it's a class added in JDK 1.8 to handle the null checking. A smooth execution. Avoid null pointer exception.
హలో సార్ నమస్కారం చెప్పండి సార్ ఇంట్లో ఉన్నాను సార్ సరే సార్ ఓకే ఓకే ఓకే
Johnson. Oh, Johnson. This came from Kerala. Dorset ఇప్పుడు చేసి కూర్చుంటాడు. జాన్సన్ ఇంగ్లాండ్. ఒక లేడీ ఉంటుంది. అందులో జైంట్ సుబ్రహ్మణ్య సలహాలు డాక్టరేట్. మీకు ట్రైనింగ్ ఇంకా నేను మీ ట్రైనింగ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేస్తున్నారు. దీంట్లో కంప్లీట్ అవుతుంది కొరియర్లో ఈ గోల్డెన్ కొరియర్ కార్బన్ కరెక్ట్. ఈ ఏం పర్వాలేదండి. మీ బాస్ ఫోన్ చేశారు. వస్తున్నారేమో ఫస్ట్ టైం తీసుకొచ్చారు. ప్రతి చాట 5 మినిట్స్ ప్రతి చాట ఫస్ట్ టైం అందరూ ఏంటి సరదా ఏం జరుగుతున్నారు ఫ్యామిలీ ఉన్నారేమో. ఇప్పుడు శివాజీ ఫ్యామిలీ లేదు.